Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. John Owen talks about sports and movies. Thank you for checking out today's video. Always appreciate support. Let's get into it. So I saw a tweet on Twitter yesterday that proposed the idea that the Texans should trade Deshaun Watson to the Bears, and I think it makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to tell you why right now, but before we get into it, make sure you leave your thoughts on this idea below, and let's get into it. So first, I'm going to go over why the Texans would do this and why the Bears would do this. First off, the Texans, overall, straight up, they just are not good. They just suck. Just straight up. I've been watching the Texans for a long time. I grew up in Houston, or outside of Houston. So we always got the game for the Texans. And they just always been a middle-of-the-road franchise, even with the good players that they've had. You know, they've never been able to get over that hump into the elite tier of teams in the NFL. And under Bill O'Brien as head coach and general manager, which I think is a bad idea for anybody, but especially for someone like Bill O'Brien, they've made really questionable moves. They traded away DeAndre Hopkins without getting a first-round pick back, which was mistake number one. But in return, they got a third-round pick in David Johnson, who is beat up and not the running back he was 3 or 4 years ago. They used a second-round pick right after that to get Brandon Cooks, who's on a similar contract as DeAndre Hopkins is on or was on. You didn't want to pay him. And then you used two first round and two second round picks to get Laramie Tunsil and Kenny Stills, which I understand that good offensive tackles are not just readily available, but I don't know, that's kind of a lot whenever you don't have a plan to then re-sign him. I mean, I know he's still on the team, but you know, there's just not a lot of functionality and sustainability and just intelligence going on right now in Houston. And they just fired Bill O'Brien as head coach and general manager, which was a great idea. Smartest decision they've made since he's been there. That's the best decision they've made since they traded up to get Deshaun Watson. But I digress. So you suck, and you have Deshaun Watson, who, in my opinion, is a top 5 quarterback. He's number 5. In his prime, he's 25 years old, and you still suck. In a league where a quarterback can carry you, you are still garbage. And yeah, I understand that they had probably the toughest 4-game stretch to open a season. Baltimore, Kansas City, Minnesota, Pittsburgh. That's not an easy 4-game stretch to open the season with, but we know what this team is. They're not very good. The days of J.J. Watt, excuse me, and the defense carrying the team, those are over. That's out. There's no D-Hop. Yeah, Fuller and Stills and Cooks aren't bad, but those 3 guys together are still not as good as DeAndre Hopkins. Like, I don't know what that thought process was in trading away D-Hop and not even getting a first round. They should have gotten 2 first-round picks back for D-Hop, and they got a third. 1 third-round draft pick. It's just dumb. So, basically, you're stuck. And it would be a shame to see Deshaun Watson rot in Houston and just waste him away. So, 25-year-old quarterbacks in their prime are not just a readily available commodity. They could get a massive haul for Deshaun Watson. I'm talking 3 or 4 first-round picks, 3 or 4 second-round picks, throwing a third and a fourth. You could rebuild your entire franchise just by trading away Deshaun Watson. So I think from the Texans' perspective, that's why they should do it. Now, why are the Bears a suitable partner? I mean, if you've watched the Bears or just know anything about what's going on there, they have Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback. And Mitch has obviously been a ginormous bust. I mean, you look at everybody else in that draft class. Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson. I mean, it's documented. I mean, we know Baker Mayfield's even be better than him. We know what Mitchell Trubisky is. He's not an NFL quarterback. And the trade up 1 pick, give up 3 or 4 picks just to trade up 1 spot, It's just dumb by the Bears. And then Nick Foles, who I think is nice, but at the same time, like, I don't know. Like, do you think he's good enough to go gun for, the outgun Aaron Rodgers in that division? Or who else is in the NFC? Maybe not, like the Buccaneers, but that probably won't be a factor in the next couple of years. Just like the top guns in the NFC? I don't think so. I don't believe that's true. And I think Matt Nagy is a good head coach. I think he's a creative offensive mind. I mean, hell, he got Mitchell Trubisky to a Pro Bowl, dog. If he can do that, he's a good offensive mind. I mean, it's obvious. They've had a winning record under him. And the defense is there. They got Khalil Mack. They've got a great defense. They've kind of shuffled the pieces a little bit, but, bring it back in. And the main thing that makes the Bears an attractive partner is that they finally have some first-round picks back. They made the Khalil Mack trade, which was a smart deal. I would have done it too. But, that cost them some first-round picks. So if I'm the Bears and I'm thinking that I'm a quarterback away from being a legitimate title contender, straight up, I'm a quarterback away. I've got the coach that I think I like. I've got the defense. I've got a couple weapons. I've got an offensive-minded coach. If I believe that I'm a quarterback away, and they're not going to be bad. They're not going to be 4-12. They're going to be 9-7. So my idea is if you feel like you're going to trade up to get a quarterback in the draft, you're going to have to give up 2 or 3 first-round picks. So would I rather roll the dice on Trey Lance or Sam Howell in the draft after I have to trade up for him? Or would I rather probably just give up 1 more first-round pick and get Deshaun Watson, a proven commodity? You know what Deshaun Watson is. As great as the quarterback talent has been coming out of college these past few years, and as high as the hit rate is, you still just don't know. You don't know, regardless of how high the hit rate's been lately. So for me, if I'm the Bears, I'm looking at my roster. I think I'm a quarterback away from being a legitimate team, a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Deshaun Watson's my guy. That puts me over the edge. He can win. 1 in high school, 1 in Clemson. He's 1 in Houston. So I really don't see where anybody loses in this trade. The Texans can start completely over from scratch, tear it all down, and the Bears can get that piece that they think will put them in the Super Bowl contending tier. All right, thank you for checking out today's video. I always appreciate when you do. Make sure you leave your thoughts on this trade proposal down below, and I hope you have a great day.